The ceramic coffee mug slips from my fingers when I hear Caleb's voice crack on the other end of the phone. In the 8 months I've known him, he's never sounded like this. Not once. "Maddie, I need to play something for you." My stomach clenches. The coffee spreads across my kitchen floor in a murky pool, but I can't move to clean it up. Can't do anything except clutch the phone tighter against my ear. "What's wrong?" The words barely escape my throat. A rustling sound. Then my mother's voice fills the line. Not speaking to me, speaking about me. The familiar tone she uses when she thinks I can't hear her. Well, since Madeline is marrying first, which isn't fair, Chelsea should at least have her moment. My father's firm agreement follows as I hear on the phone, each word a hammer strike against my chest. Chelsea will wear a wedding dress and walk before Madeline. The phone trembles in my grip. Black spots dance at the edges of my vision as memories flood back, sharp and clear as photographs. My 8th birthday party. The strawberry cake my mother insisted on having, even though she knew I was allergic. "But it's Chelsea's favorite," she'd said, watching my sister blow out my candles while I sat with an empty plate. The day I brought home straight A's in junior high. My father barely glanced at the report card before turning to admire Chelsea's C+ in art class. "Now this shows real creativity," he'd beamed, pinning her watercolor to the fridge while my perfect grades disappeared into a drawer. That awful night in high school when I caught Chelsea wearing nothing but a silky pink robe perched on the arm of my boyfriend's chair. The way she'd laughed when he broke up with me the next day. "He just realized which sister he actually wanted," she'd whispered, her smile sharp as a razor. My graduation day. Valedictorian speech prepared for months, practiced until every word was perfect. The empty seats where my parents should have been. Chelsea's art show was the same day, Mom explained later. We couldn't disappoint her. But Caleb was different. From the moment we met at Morgan's Books, when he stepped between me and an aggressive customer who wouldn't take no for an answer. "I believe the lady said she's not interested," he'd stated, his voice calm but carrying an edge of steel I'd never forgotten. 35 years old. Confident without being arrogant, protective without being controlling, and most importantly, he saw through every manipulation my family attempted. We'd planned a simple wedding, just a ceremony in Springfield followed by a honeymoon in Spain. Nothing elaborate, nothing that could be twisted or turned against us. Then my parents insisted on meeting with Caleb alone. To welcome him properly to the family, they'd said. The old familiar dread had crept up my spine, but I'd pushed it away. They couldn't take this from me. Not this time. But Caleb, brilliant, perceptive Caleb. He'd seen the trap coming. "Let me go alone," he'd suggested, pulling out a small digital recorder. Just to be safe. I'd wavered, decades of conditioning warring with the need to protect what was mine. But Caleb's quiet confidence had steadied me, given me strength I didn't know I possessed. Now I sit at my kitchen table, coffee soaking into my socks, staring at the recorder he sent me the audio from. My finger hovers over the play button as bile rises in my throat. What exactly did my family think they were entitled to take from me this time? The light on the recorder blinks, patient and remorseless, like truth waiting to be heard. I press play. "You thought I was the same pushover, didn't you?" The thought rises unbidden as my mother's voice fills the kitchen again. The same quiet little girl who always stepped aside, always gave up what was hers, always put Chelsea first. But I'm not that little girl anymore. And they're about to learn exactly what that means. My thumb hits play on the recorder. The quiet kitchen fills with Chelsea's voice, sharp and clear as breaking glass. "I always thought I'd be married first. It's not fair." A chair scrapes against hardwood. My mother's perfume wafts through the speaker, that cloying gardenia scent she's worn since I was small. "Of course it isn't fair, sweetheart. But we can fix this. You'll have your own cake, professional photos, and a spotlight dance." My father clears his throat. "Whatever it costs to make this right for our firstborn. The Grand Plaza has that sweetheart package, white roses, champagne fountain, the works. And the dress? Chelsea asks, voice dripping honey. Already arranged, Mom says. That designer in Kansas City owes me a favor. You'll outshine everyone. The recorder picks up the rustle of fabric, the clink of Mom's special occasion teacups. I know exactly which one is the blue and gold set she only brings out when Chelsea visits. Madeline won't mind once it's happening, Chelsea says. She always gives in. A laugh from Mom. We've always had to protect Chelsea's feelings. Madeline understands. We'll cover everything, Dad adds. His checkbook snaps open. This needs to happen our way. Nobody will question it if we present it properly, Mom says. Your Aunt Martha might raise an eyebrow, but she'll fall in line. She always does. The recorder clicks off. My lungs refuse to work properly. Black spots dance at the edges of my vision as I fumble for the photo on my fridge, me at 8 years old, gap-toothed smile, standing alone beside that strawberry cake while Chelsea blew out my candles. It was never about love, was it? The words escape in a whisper. My chest heaves as decades of memories crash over me like waves. Every milestone, every celebration, the empty chairs at my valedictorian speech. The art show that couldn't be missed. The college graduation party that turned into Chelsea's engagement announcement, even though the engagement fell through 2 weeks later. My phone buzzes. Caleb. I heard it all, he says softly. You're not imagining this. They're trying to steal my wedding day, too. My voice breaks. Just like everything else. What if? He pauses. What if we let them think they're winning? What do you mean? Mark me friend in security? He's worked high-end weddings for years, and Sarah would do anything to help you get justice. What if we documented everything while playing along? The idea settles in my stomach like a burning coal. They'd never expect that from me. Exactly. Keys click in the background. We have 3 months until the wedding. They're already telling everyone about Chelsea's special role. Your mom's offering to handle all the arrangements. Using Dad's money, I finish. The same pattern we followed since childhood, except this time. They think you're the same pushover you've always been. Caleb's smile carries through his voice. Meet me at home in 20 minutes. The spare bedroom's about to become our war room. I glance at the childhood photo again. That little girl deserved better. She deserved a family who celebrated her existence instead of treating her like an afterthought. What if this destroys everything? The question slips out before I can stop it. You mean the family that's already trying to destroy your wedding? Caleb's voice hardens. They're about to fund the most expensive lesson they've ever learned. The burning coal in my stomach flares into something stronger, something that tastes like justice. I take one last look at the photo before slipping it into my purse. That little girl isn't alone anymore, and this time, she's not giving in. The spare bedroom will make the perfect planning space. After all, I learned strategy from the best. Watching Chelsea manipulate every situation for 3 decades taught me exactly how the game is played. Time to show them how well I was paying attention. Sarah texts as I grab my keys. Just heard from your mom about Chelsea's surprise. Please tell me you're finally fighting back. My fingers hover over the phone. In my mind, I see that strawberry cake again. Smell the frosting I couldn't eat. Watch Chelsea's triumphant smile as she stole one more moment that should have been mine. Meeting Caleb in 20 minutes. I type. Want to help us plan a surprise of our own? Her response is immediate. On my way. Time to make them regret every birthday cake they ever stole from you. A laugh bubbles up in my throat, rusty from disuse but gaining strength. They think they know exactly how this will play out. Poor, predictable Madeline, always stepping aside, always giving in, always putting Chelsea first. But they forgot something important. I've had 33 years to study their playbook. I know every move, every manipulation, every guilt trip they'll try. And this time, I'm not playing defense. The front door opens as I reach for my jacket. Caleb stands there, holding a whiteboard and set of markers. His smile reminds me of the day we met, that same quiet confidence when he stepped between me and the aggressive customer at the bookstore. Ready to start planning? He holds up the markers like weapons. I think of Chelsea trying on white dresses, Mom arranging flowers, Dad writing checks. Absolutely ready. I grab my purse, the childhood photo tucked safely inside. Let's teach them what happens when you push the wrong bride too far. The door clicks shut behind us with the finality of a judge's gavel. In 3 months, they'll learn exactly what kind of person they created. One party favor, stolen moment, and ruined celebration at a time. They're about to discover that some daughters don't just give in. Some daughters get even. So the whole week passes by with our preps for the big surprise. The next week, Chelsea's latest text lights up my phone. A photo of herself beaming in a floor-length white gown, complete with cathedral veil. My stomach lurches at the caption, "Just trying on some options for your special day." I drop the phone on my kitchen counter and press my palms against the cool granite. 10 similar messages in the past week, each dress more elaborate than the last. The constant pinging has trained my body to expect another blow, like a dog anticipating the newspaper swat. "Sweetheart?" Caleb's voice breaks through my spiral. "Your mother called while you were in the shower." The tension in my shoulders ratchets up another notch. What did she want? Oh, just to let us know she's upgraded the venue to the Grand Plaza. His tone remains carefully neutral. For more space, apparently. A laugh bubbles up from my chest, sharp and brittle. The Grand Plaza costs triple our original venue. Let me guess, Dad already signed the contract? He's sending over the paperwork. Just needs your signature on a few things. Caleb's hand settles warm against my back. They're handling all the vendors now to make things easier for us. To make things easier to control, he means every relative who calls mentions Chelsea's special surprise for the wedding. They think they're being subtle. They're not. But neither are we. "Speaking of vendors," Caleb says, picking up his car keys, "I have that second meeting with your parents today. The one about floral arrangements?" My chest tightens. "Are you sure about this?" His smile carries an edge I've never seen before meeting my family. "Trust me, sometimes the best defense is appearing completely defenseless." 10 minutes. Later, I watch him adjust his tie in the hallway mirror, transforming into the perfect future son-in-law. He's learned to mirror my mother's concerned head tilt, my father's self-important stance. The performance would be terrifying if I didn't know whose side he was really on. "Remember," he says, "Madeline is so emotional about weddings. A surprise might work better." His impression of my mother's sugary tone is perfect. I completely understand family traditions. My parents would have wanted the same thing. The family dinner that night tests everything we've learned. Chelsea corners me by the appetizer table, her voice carrying just far enough to draw attention. "Have you picked your bridesmaid dresses yet?" She adjusts her hair in the silver serving tray's reflection. My heart pounds, but I keep my voice steady. "Caleb's handling those details with Mom. I hope they're not white." Her smile could slice glass. "That would clash with my gown." I blink, channeling the innocent confusion I've perfected over 3 decades. "Oh, you mean your bridesmaid dress?" The fork in her hand trembles. For a moment, I glimpse the panic behind her perfect makeup. She hadn't expected me to be this calm. With the tension, the dinner was over, so we returned home. Later that night, my best friend Sarah paces my living room, her face flushed with outrage. "They're trying to do what at your wedding?" "Keep your voice down," Caleb's friend Mark mutters, studying the venue layout spread across our coffee table. "But yes, that's exactly what they're planning. We'll position guards here and here." His pen marks strategic points on the blueprint. My cousin Jennifer sits cross-legged on the floor, her phone recording every detail of our planning session. I'll make sure the relatives know the truth afterward, every last bit of it. Our wedding planner, Lisa, hasn't stopped shaking her head since we filled her in. "I've seen family drama, but this is unprecedented." She taps her tablet decisively. "Lucky for you. I love a good contingency plan. The next morning, Caleb takes Chelsea to sample what he calls mid-range options for her surprise. I watch their Instagram story updates. Chelsea's nose wrinkling at perfectly lovely decorations, her voice carrying that familiar whine. This is ordinary. Don't you have something more premium? My parents' eager responses flood the group chat. Only the best for our girls. Money flows like water when it's Chelsea's idea. The running tally in Caleb's private spreadsheet hits $28,000, all carefully documented, all technically part of my wedding budget. That night, doubt creeps in as I stare at our bedroom ceiling. Are we becoming just as motive as they are? Caleb rolls over, his eyes serious in the dark. The difference is they're trying to hurt you. We're protecting what's yours. His hand finds mine under the covers. And we're not even lying, just letting them show exactly who they are. I've never had anyone stand up for me like this. The words catch in my throat. That's because they trained you not to expect it. He squeezes my fingers. But you're stronger than they know. Look how you handled Chelsea last night at dinner. My mind spins with new possibilities. What if we added a photo display? Old family pictures focusing on all the times they pulled something like this before? Now you're thinking like a strategist. His smile gleams in the darkness. The next morning, Mark briefs his security team with military precision. No one named Chelsea enters in a white dress, period. They study her photos like soldiers memorizing enemy formations. Lisa rearranges the seating chart, positioning our loyal allies at key tables. If disruption occurs, proceed with Plan B immediately. She develops a system of subtle hand signals between the wedding party members, each gesture carrying a specific meaning. The night before the wedding, my aunt's call catches me off guard. Is everything okay with you and your sister? She's acting strange. I cradle the phone, watching Caleb sort through childhood photos and evidence of a lifetime of similar schemes, ready to be revealed if needed. Everything's fine, I tell her, my voice carrying a confidence that would have been impossible 8 months ago. I want everyone to witness what happens tomorrow. After hanging up, I pick up my favorite photo. 8-year-old me wearing a party hat, watching Chelsea blow out my birthday candles. The little girl in the picture had no idea how to protect herself. I touch her face through the glass. Tomorrow, I whisper, I finally stand up for you. And this time, I'm not standing alone. I went to sleep anticipating the unfolding of events tomorrow. The morning light spills across the bridal suite's cream tablecloth, casting long shadows over my untouched breakfast. Through the window, I watch security guards take their positions around the Springfield Grand Plaza's perimeter. Mark, Caleb's friend from his military days, checks each guard's earpiece before handing them their phones. Photos uploaded, he says into his own device. Target will likely arrive from the east entrance. Remember, under no circumstances does Chelsea Turner enter wearing white. Period. Sarah's fingers work steadily through my hair, weaving delicate pearls into the French braid. How are you so calm? She whispers, meeting my eyes in the mirror. I touch the small recorder in my lap, identical to the one Caleb used that day in my parents' house. Because for once, I know exactly what's coming. The door opens. Mother sweeps in wearing lavender chiffon, her smile tight. Darling, what time is Chelsea supposed to arrive? We should coordinate the entrances properly. I'm not sure what you mean. I keep my voice light, remembering Caleb's words. Let them think nothing has changed. Well, for the processional, dear. So the photographer can capture both moments. Sarah's hand still in my hair. There's only one bride today, Mother. I smooth my veil, pristine white against the tablecloth. One processional, one moment. Mother's face hardens. Now, Madeline. A commotion erupts from the hallway. Raised voices, the click of heels on marble. I close my eyes, counting backward from 10. Right on schedule. You can't be serious. Chelsea's voice rings through the corridor. This is my sister's wedding. I'm wearing this gown whether you like it or not. Ma'am, as I explained, there's already a bride inside. No other white dress is permitted. Do you know who I am? This is my sister's wedding. Exactly. Mark's steady baritone carries clearly. It's her wedding, ma'am. Mother rushes to the door. Through the gap, I glimpse Chelsea in full bridal, regalia white satin, cathedral train, professional photographer hovering nearby. The sight should hurt. Instead, I feel nothing but a strange, weightless calm. This is outrageous, Mother's voice rises. It's a family tradition. You have to let her in. Aunt Martha's distinctive Alabama drawl cuts through the chaos. What tradition? I've been to every family wedding for 30 years. Never heard of such nonsense. The murmurs from gathered guests grow louder. Questions ripple through the crowd. Why is Chelsea wearing a wedding dress? What's happening? Someone's phone camera clicks. Father appears in the doorway, his bow tie slightly crooked. Madeline, I need to step out for a moment. Chelsea's very upset. I stand, my wedding dress whispering against the carpet. Dad, it's time. Are you walking me down the aisle or not? He glances toward the commotion outside. I should check on Chelsea first. She's very upset. So that's your answer? I turn to Amanda, our wedding planner. He just told me I shouldn't be the one getting married today. Sarah's gasp could cut glass. He said what? Cousin Jennifer's phone appears, recording. The gathered bridesmaids shift closer, a protective circle of pastel chiffon. I'll walk you down the aisle, Madeline. Caleb steps into the room, handsome in his charcoal tuxedo. He shouldn't be here, it's bad luck to see the bride. But luck has never been on my side anyway. Mother returns with the venue manager in tow, her mascara smeared. This is discrimination against my daughter. We paid for this wedding. Ma'am. The manager's voice remains professional. Our contract clearly states one bride, one processional, one celebration. Through the window, I watch my sister sink to the pavement, her white dress pooling around her. Her waist draw smartphone cameras like moths to flame. Father strides toward her, but Uncle Robert and Cousin James block his path. Bill, Uncle Robert's voice carries. What exactly do you think you're doing? Mother clutches Aunt Susan's arm. We just wanted Chelsea to have her moment too. She's always been so fragile. You understand. At her sister's wedding, Aunt Susan recoils. In a wedding dress? Chelsea has always been fragile. Father's words slur slightly. Madeline understands. So you've been doing this to Madeline her whole life? Aunt Martha's voice could freeze fire. Taking her moments and giving them to Chelsea? The next hour blurs into snippets of perfect clarity. Caleb's arm steady beneath my hand as we process down the aisle. Chelsea and my parents being quietly escorted from the premises. The flash of cameras capturing everything. At the reception, I raise my champagne glass. The crystal catches the light, scattering rainbows across the white tablecloth. To family, I say, my voice carrying to every corner of the room. Not the one you're born with, but the one that truly loves you. Caleb squeezes my hand beneath the table. On his phone, notifications blink steadily, recordings uploading to the cloud, security footage archived, witness statements collected. What my parents and sister don't realize is that today's humiliation was just the beginning of what we had planned. The champagne tastes like victory. The notifications vibrate against my hip in rapid succession, each buzz like an angry hornet. I slip my phone from my pocket, screen blazing with texts from Mother. How could you humiliate your sister this way? Chelsea is sobbing in the parking lot. After everything we've done for you. I take a slow sip of champagne, savoring the crisp bubbles on my tongue. The string quartet plays softly in the background, while our guests mingle beneath crystal chandeliers. Aunt Martha catches my eye from across the room, raising her glass with a knowing smile. My phone buzzes again. Father this time. Do you have any idea how much we paid for this wedding? You're acting like an ungrateful child. The screen fills with more messages, a digital avalanche of guilt and manipulation. Everyone is laughing at me because of you. Chelsea's name appears with a string of crying emojis. If you don't fix this right now, you can forget about your inheritance. You were always selfish, Madeline, always thinking only of yourself. While I am looking at numerous messages, Caleb materializes at my side, his hand warm against the small of my back. Without a word, he collects phones from Sarah, Jennifer, and the other members of our inner circle who've been documenting the chaos. His quiet confidence steadies me, just as it has since that first day at the bookstore. "Ready?" he whispers. I pick up my phone one last time, fingers hovering over the keyboard. The message forms with crystalline clarity. What happens when you try to steal a moment that was never yours to take? You lose everything. Enjoy the consequences of your actions. I press send, then block their numbers in 3 quick taps. "Ready?" he asks again, and I nod, watching the wedding photographer capture this moment. My smile feels different now, no longer the practiced curve of placation, but something fierce and free. After taking photos, Caleb gathers our closest relatives and friends into a quiet corner of the reception hall. "We knew exactly what they would do," he explains, pulling out his phone. "Listen." And with this, our operation has reached its peak. In the reception hall, through all the speakers the recording plays, Mother's voice filling our circle. "Of course Chelsea should wear white. Madeline won't mind sharing her special day. She never minds sharing anything." Chelsea's smug tone follows. "I deserve the attention more than Madeline does. I'm the firstborn. It should have been my wedding first anyway." Aunt Martha's hand flies to her mouth. Uncle Robert's face darkens like thunder, but it's grandmother's reaction that cuts deepest. "I've never been so ashamed of my daughter and granddaughter in my life," she declares, voice shaking. "All these years I watched them diminish you, Madeline. I said nothing. That ends today." During this time, Caleb creates a new family group chat, pointedly excluding my parents and sister. The evidence uploads in a steady stream. Texts, recordings, photos of my parents signing checks for all the premium wedding upgrades they'd insisted on, then tried to use against me. The next thing to follow is my phone pings with notifications as relatives share their own memories of witness slights. Jennifer. "Remember when Chelsea showed up at Maddie's college graduation party in a white dress and announced her engagement during the toast?" Uncle Robert. "They did the same thing when she made valedictorian, scheduled Chelsea's art show for the same afternoon." Aunt Martha's message appears. "We all saw it happening but never intervened. We failed you, Madeline. I'm so sorry." The phone rings, Mother again. Caleb answers on speaker, his voice calm as still water. "Why would we do something so insane as let someone else wear a wedding dress to our wedding?" Mother's response slices through the air. "Because Chelsea deserved it more." The silence that follows feels like the moment after a thunderclap. I lean forward, finding strength in the solid warmth of Caleb's arm around my waist. "Thank you for finally being honest," I say softly. "Goodbye, Mother." The aftermath unfolds like dominoes falling. Father sends a message to the entire family trying to explain away their behavior. The responses come swift and unified. Not one person takes their side. Chelsea's final desperate play arrives in a text to every family member. "Caleb only married her because I turned him down. Ask him about last Christmas when we..." I delete it without finishing. Caleb shows me his phone. He's already taking a screenshot. "This one's getting framed," he says with a small smile. A reminder of what we escaped. The rest of the reception passes in a blur of dancing, toasting, and genuine celebration. For the first time in my life, I feel the full warmth of family love, not the conditional affection I grew up bargaining for, but real, steadfast support. 3 days later at home, after the reception was over, as we prepared to leave for our honeymoon, I power down my phone. Spain awaits, a fresh start across an ocean from the wreckage of my former family's reputation. Sarah has already texted to tell me that Chelsea's closest friends are distancing themselves as the story spreads. "You know what I just realized?" I tell Caleb as he helps me into our waiting car. "What's that?" "Sometimes the best revenge isn't what you take from others, but what you refuse to let them take from you anymore." He kisses my temple, and we drive away into our new life, leaving the old one shattered behind us like my coffee cup on that morning that feels a lifetime ago. Now, we were off to Spain for a whole month without drama, just the two of us, free. After the honeymoon was over, we returned home. The first thing to do was to turn on the phones. Caleb slides a cup of perfectly made café con leche across our kitchen table, and I wrap my hands around its comforting warmth. After a month of blessed silence, we finally activated our phones today. My screen lights up. Not with the usual barrage of guilt and manipulation, but with message after message of support from extended family. Aunt Martha sending photos of her garden. Cousin Jennifer sharing funny stories about her kids. Uncle Robert checking in just to say he's proud. I look up from my phone to find Caleb watching me, that gentle smile I've come to treasure playing at the corners of his mouth. Different from our usual family breakfast chaos, isn't it? The tightness that used to live between my shoulder blades has melted away. I sit straighter now, meeting his gaze without flinching when notifications pop up on my screen. Very different, I agree, taking a sip of my coffee. A letter from my grandmother catches my eye, and I open it with steady fingers. The words blur as I read. Not from fear this time, but from a different kind of tears. She's leaving me the lake house. I whisper, the one place I always felt safe as a child. I read her closing lines aloud. To restore what should have been equal. You deserved better, sweet girl. My phone buzzes again. Chelsea's engagement announcement, complete with professional photos and a novel-length caption about finding her soulmate after years of waiting. A month after my wedding. The timing would have made me laugh if it weren't so predictable. Look at this, Caleb says, showing me his screen. My mother's latest attempt at reconciliation now that the extended family has turned their backs. 20 missed calls from my father's work number. Caleb creates a new folder on his phone labeled Toxic Family and starts moving screenshots into it. Documentation for the restraining order, he explains, his voice matter of fact. Every message strengthens our case. He sends the latest screenshots to our family group chat. Still not understanding boundaries, he captions them. A flood of supportive responses follows. We drank our coffee and went to unpack our luggage. The following days were filled with ordinary things. Work, meetings, friends' gatherings, and eventually things got better. 2 weeks later, at our friends' gathering, our closest friends and loyal family members raised glasses in our backyard. To chosen family, Sarah had toasted, and everyone echoed the words. Later that evening, Jennifer pulled me aside to confess she was finally standing up to her own parents' favoritism. You showed me it was possible, she said. The support group I joined meets on Thursday evenings in a warm, sunlit room at the community center. Yesterday, I shared my full story for the first time. Afterward, 3 different people told me hearing about my boundaries gave them courage to set their own. We should do something special for our freedom anniversary, I suggest, instead of dwelling on what we lost. Caleb's eyes crinkle at the corners. Already planning ahead? Who are you and what have you done with my wife who used to flinch at the word celebration? I laugh, surprising myself with how natural it sounds. Just last week, I ran into my mother at the grocery store. Instead of ducking behind a display or pretending not to see her, I met her eyes calmly when she approached. Maddie, please, she started, but I cut her off with a simple, I'm not available for that relationship anymore, and walked away. No racing heart, no guilt, no looking back. Caleb pulls a small box from his jacket pocket, sliding it across the table. Speaking of celebrations, happy 1-year anniversary of the day you agreed to marry me. Inside, a delicate gold key hangs from a fine chain. My throat tightens as I lift it from the box. You always had the key to your own happiness, he says softly. I just helped you find the courage to use it. I clasp the necklace around my neck, feeling its weight settle against my collarbone. You did so much more than that, I tell him. You showed me what real love looks like. Our friends see us and raise glasses to love and happiness. Back home, 2 frames hang side by side in our hallway. The first holds our wedding photo, surrounded by beaming faces of the family members who chose to stand with us. The second contains Chelsea's accusatory text message from that day, printed in elegant script. You'll regret choosing him over your real family. Caleb and I pause before them every morning, a daily reminder of what we escaped and what we built in its place. Then we turn away toward the future we're creating, one boundary at a time. The most valuable wedding gift wasn't anything they bought us. It was the freedom we finally claimed for ourselves.